Have you noticed that the people who try to tolerate everyone eventually stand for nothing? We live in a society that fetishizes niceness. We are told that exclusion is mean, that boundaries are rude, and that to be a good person, you must keep the door to your life wide open. But the Stoics knew better. They understood a fundamental truth that most modern people are too afraid to admit. Most people tolerate toxicity not because they are kind, but because they are weak. They fear solitude more than they fear spiritual decay. This is the binary frame you must accept today. You can either have a crowded life filled with noise, confusion, and subtle manipulation, or you can have a focused life defined by clarity, purpose, and peace. You cannot have both. The architect, the Stoic who takes responsibility for his own soul, chooses the pain of amputation over the comfort of infection. He realizes that to build a sanctuary, you must first build a wall. Today we are applying the cold, rational light of Stoic philosophy to your social circle. We are not talking about being petty or holding grudges. We are talking about survival. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned, if you consort with a dirt-covered man, you too will get dirty. It is a law of nature. We are going to identify the 5 archetypes of people who are currently acting as anchors on your potential. Access to your life is a privilege, not a right. Withdrawing your attention isn't cruelty, it is the ultimate act of self-respect. Silence is the gatekeeper of your sanity. Here are the 5 types of people you must sever immediately to save your life. The first contagion you must remove is the eternal victim. You know this person. When you ask them how they are, they don't give you a status report. They give you a list of grievances. Their boss hates them, the weather is against them, their health is failing, and the world is conspiring to keep them small. Standard advice tells us to be compassionate, to listen, and to offer help. But the Stoic realizes something darker is at play here. The eternal victim views the world through a lens of permanent injustice. And here is the emotional logic you must understand. You cannot save them. Their misery is not a cry for help. It is a lifestyle. It is their identity. If you offer them a solution, they will find a new problem to attach to it. If you throw them a rope, they won't use it to climb out. They will use it to pull you in. They are addicted to the sympathy they harvest from your kindness. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we must protect our own inner citadel. When you associate with an eternal victim, you are voluntarily lowering the drawbridge and allowing a Trojan horse of negativity into your mind. You must sever this tie, not because you lack empathy, but because you possess wisdom. You realize that your energy is the fuel for your destiny. To allow a leak is to choose failure. If you stay close to them, you will begin to adopt their worldview. You will start seeing problems instead of opportunities. You will start feeling that the world is happening to you rather than for you. Do not try to be their savior. You will drown. Cut the rope. The second archetype is more dangerous because they are harder to spot, the friendly envier. These people are often disguised as your closest friends. They are the ones who are there for the parties, the dinners, and the casual hangouts. But pay close attention to the energy in the room when you share good news. When you announce a promotion, a new relationship, or a personal breakthrough, watch their eyes. The friendly envier will clap, but their eyes won't smile. There is a microsecond of hesitation, a subtle energy shift, or a backhanded compliment like, "Wow, you're so lucky," or "I hope you can handle that much pressure." This is the vibration of corrosion. They want you to do well, just not better than them. As long as you are struggling or remaining stagnant, they are your biggest supporters because your mediocrity makes them feel safe. But the moment you attempt to ascend, you trigger their insecurity. Why must you cut them out? Because this energy is parasitic. It works on your subconscious. When you are around the friendly envier, you will instinctively start to dim your own light. You will downplay your achievements to avoid upsetting them. You will apologize for your success. You will begin to shrink yourself to fit into the small box they have constructed for you. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, and your nature is to grow. Anyone who subtly punishes your growth is an enemy of your nature. It does not matter how long you have known them. It does not matter how nice they are on the surface. If their spirit recoils at your success, They are anchoring you to the ground. Sever the connection and stop apologizing for your vitality. The third type is the historian. This person is addicted to who you used to be. They are often childhood friends or family members who hold the copyright to your past mistakes. Every time you try to evolve, to change your habits, or to adopt a new philosophy like Stoicism, the historian is there to remind you of the old you. Oh, look at you trying to be all disciplined now. Remember when we used to waste time doing X, Y, and Z? They use your past as a weapon to dismantle your future. Why do they do this? Because your evolution forces them to look at their own stagnation. If you can change, then they have no excuse for staying the same. Your growth invalidates their excuses. So to protect their ego, they try to drag you back into the version of yourself that makes them comfortable. The reform here is crucial. You must accept that the person you were 5 years ago is dead. You have buried that version of yourself. The historian is trying to dig up a corpse and chain it to your ankle. Seneca taught us that life is long if you know how to use it. Part of using it well is constant reinvention. You cannot ascend if you are constantly being reminded of who you were when you were unconscious and weak. If someone cannot respect the person you are becoming, they do not belong in your future. You are building a sanctuary of focus, and the historian is bringing in the dust of the past. You must firmly explain that you have changed, and if they cannot engage with the new you, they lose access to you entirely. Type 4 is the energy vampire. This differs from the eternal victim. The victim wants pity. The energy vampire wants attention. Narcissistic, loud, and demanding, they view you not as a human being, but as a battery to be drained. The frame of the energy vampire is simple. The conversation is always about them, their drama, their conflicts, their needs. When you speak, they are merely waiting for their turn to speak again. They do not listen, they reload. The emotional logic here is physical. How do you feel after spending an hour with this person? Do you feel inspired and energized? Or do you feel physically exhausted, mentally fogged and irritable? Your body knows the truth before your mind does. That exhaustion is your vitality leaving your body. Seneca once famously said, "We are tight-fisted with our money, yet we let others trespass on our time, which is the one thing we can never get back." The energy vampire is a thief. They steal your time, but more importantly, they steal the mental bandwidth you need to build your empire. You only have a finite amount of emotional capital each day. If you spend 80% of it managing the ego and drama of a vampire, you have nothing left for your work, your family, or your own spiritual growth. Cutting them out is not mean. It is a calculation of resources. You are closing a leak in your hull. You are reclaiming your sanctuary. When you stop feeding them, they will get angry, and then they will move on to a new host. Let them. Finally, the fifth archetype, the drifter. The drifter is not necessarily malicious. They aren't mean, and they aren't envious. They simply have no purpose, no discipline, and no direction. They are leaves blowing in the wind. They wake up late, they procrastinate, they abuse substances to escape reality, and they treat life as a waiting room for death. Why is this dangerous? Because chaos is contagious. The law of association is absolute. As Jim Rohn noted, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But let's look at this through the Stoic lens of vibration. If you are striving for Stoic discipline, if you are trying to master your morning, master your mind, and master your emotions, you cannot maintain precision while surrounded by people who revel in disorder. The drifter makes complacency look comfortable. When you are grinding, they will say, "Relax, take a break, it's not that serious." They normalize mediocrity. They act as a sedative to your ambition. To achieve greatness, to achieve the status of the architect, you need friction. You need to be around people who sharpen you, not people who dull your blade. The drifter softens your edges. They make it okay to skip the workout. They make it okay to procrastinate. You must sever this tie because you are on a mission and they are on a stroll. You cannot walk the same path because you are not going to the same destination. There is a fear rising in you as you hear this list. You are thinking, if I cut all these people out, I will be alone. Good. This is the counterintuitive strength. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the poverty of self. Solitude is the richness of self. When you prune the dead branches, the tree does not die, it thrives. It directs its nutrients to the branches that are actually bearing fruit. When you clear the noise of the victim, the envier, the historian, the vampire, and the drifter, you finally create a silence loud enough to hear your own thoughts. You finally hear the signal of who you are meant to be. This is not about hate. It is not about looking down on others. It is about love for your future self. It is about protecting the sanctity of your time and the clarity of your mind. The architect knows that a fortress with no walls is just a ruin. Build your walls, guard your gate, sever the parasitic ties that bind you to the ground. Don't apologize for evolving. Don't apologize for your standards.